All right, we're live. Are you going to get off your phone? We're live. Are you answering emails? Don't be looking at me like that, trying to cut me and whatnot.
I can do whatever I want. I'm grown.
That's cool. Okay. Hey, what's up, everyone? Scott Brandt, Marion Wilson, and then we have our special co-host, Titus, and I don't want to butcher your last name, so.
Right on. So Titus Kleppinger.
Okay. And so Titus and I have been Facebook friends. It's one of those things where you'll have people that come through and it's just, hey, here's somebody that you might know. And then we had met, it was 2 weeks ago when we had done the presentation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Roundabouts, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had talked after the presentation, and it was just very powerful to hear you open up and talk about, hey, this is what I'm going through. And I know Garrett's spoken highly of you also in regards to your story and kind of the aspect that you're dealing with. And myself and Miriam, I know we're very open to have people come on here, share their stories, because we're going through a similar journey, but the boat that we're in is a little bit different based on the waves that we're facing and whatnot. So I don't know if Miriam has anything to add before Titus starts talking.
No. Take it away.
Take it away. Okay. Well, yes, thank you for having me on. It is a privilege. I appreciate the you guys asking me to be here today. And look at
it's Danielle McCarthy. She says she loves this.
Hello.
As I have to get closer because
There's no way I can read
it's okay.
that from here.
Yeah.
Hello, Danielle. Good to have you. You know, I actually I met Danielle. I remember the first time we sat down and had coffee and talked at, I want to say it was Panera Bread or noodles, but anyway, she has an incredible story. If you're ever looking for somebody to put on a podcast, you could absolutely put her on there. So we love you, and we're sending loves, and thank you for joining us.
So I do have one thing on that one, because Danielle did ask for us to give her some backing because of everything she's going with her husband and everything with his death. So she's asked for any individual that knows her to reach out to Michael Bennett and Corey Gardner and express what's going on and just help Danielle to be able to get the body back to have a proper burial and funeral. And so that was actually one thing I called both offices today. Senator Gardner, his rep at the time was like, okay. The one for Michael Bennett was very receptive, and she's like, oh my goodness, I didn't know this was what's going on. So I will get somebody to contact Danielle. So anybody that knows Danielle, love her, thank you for everything that you do. Just reach out. She did post something in regards to who to call, the numbers to call and whatnot. So the more we can get that traction, just to help her out with what she's going through, just having that some closure with the experience and whatnot. So just wanted to give that up. But then Titus, you can go ahead, start taking off. Give away.
Yeah. So you had mentioned being at 1 Million Cups and the group that you guys are supporting, and you know, just that what you guys are doing is incredible and awesome in and of itself. So I want to give you guys the kudos too, because
Lauren said we'll do. Sorry.
Will do. Just what you guys are doing in the community that you're supporting and how you're doing that. And it's benefiting the community, right? What you guys are doing is putting the word out there and giving support and being a light, right? And that's what I'm about, is being a light and making an impact. And so when I heard what you guys were doing, we talked, and obviously you heard a little bit about what's going on with me and where I come from. And I think one of the things that I said to you was, I want to be the example on the back side of this, on the back end of this. I want to be the example of being able to go through a divorce and making it the way that I want to make it. Right? I talk about transformation, I talk about mindset, and I talk about creating your world going forward, right? Making that decision where you're at now and painting that picture and saying, I want that, and stepping into that, right? And so many times people let life happen to them and they react or respond, right? And I want to take that to the next step and say, okay, I'm going to paint the picture that I want and step into that and make the life and create the life that I want. And so if it's a divorce, if it's getting fired from your job, which I'll delve into just a little bit. So as I start on my journey, going through my journey, July 15th of 19, I was hired. I wanted a job. I was traveling too much. I was traveling a lot. And I said, I don't want to travel anymore. I went in. So here, check this story out. Ready? You want a crazy story?
Oh, I am ready. Okay.
Mary
I think I'm
likes
sitting down.
You want a crazy story?
I'm ready.
Okay. Didn't want to travel anymore. So I said, let me go look for a job. I saw a place that I was familiar with because I used to sell roofs, and they were hiring for an inside sales position.
Okay.
Right. So I contacted the lady who I knew directly, and I said, I see you guys are hiring for inside sales. She's like, yeah, send me your resume as opposed to going through. Send it to me and I'll get it to the person. Well, I went in for an interview and they said, well, you're not inside. You're overqualified for inside sales. You're more qualified for outside sales. And I was like, okay, if you want to pay me more, fine with me.
Right.
Okay.
Show me the money.
Yep. Right. And so I'm like, okay. And so walked out and called them back, followed up, of course. And they're like, yeah, we like, what you have to say. Come back for a second interview. So I walk in for the second interview, sit down, and they say, well, instead of doing outside sales, what would you think about being the branch manager?
What the hell?
We went from here all the way up here. Okay, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
So man, I climbed the ladder in like 2 days. This is awesome.
Yeah. And so I was like, good, let's go. And so it was a role, I kid you not, I played from July 15th to July 15th because July 15th of 2020, they walked in, handed me a check and said, we don't need you anymore.
Oh my God.
Right. But didn't I just talk about designing my world and designing my life?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had a goal card, a card for my goals, and it says I speak full time for Glow.
Mm.
If I speak full time for Glow, growth and development, how can I have a full-time day job?
Touche.
Right. So in order for me to step into I speak full time for Glow, I had to let go and get rid of that job. And so the supervisor that let me go, he's sitting there and he's like, man, I'm so sorry for this. And I feel so bad. And I said, it's okay, man. I said, it's okay. I said, I was kind of expecting it.
Did you feel it coming on kind of thing? Like,
yeah, a couple days.
Yeah, okay.
A couple days. Yeah, like maybe a week or two. I felt it coming on. Exactly. Right?
Okay.
I knew it was coming. And so I said, I had a feeling it was coming. And he looks at me like, what? And I just chuckled to myself. I wasn't about to tell him that whole story and go through all that shebang. So anyway, yeah, that's how and that's everybody. That's what I'm here to tell you is everybody is capable and possible of doing that in their life. Okay. You are capable. It's possible for you. It's a muscle that can be developed. You can develop it. It takes discipline. It takes effort. Right. But once you get a hold of it, it's like walking, right? The baby falls down 1,000 times. Does it quit? Does it stop? No. Right. I'm just old enough that I fell down 1,000 times and I can walk. So I'm telling you, you can walk too. You can run too. You can fly too. Right. So take off in life. It's just that a lot of stuff is buried underneath your growing up. It's buried underneath what society says that you're going to be or should be. It's buried under the emotional baggage and all the garbage. One of the things that I say is clean and clear. Clean and clear. I want to be clean and clear as possible. It helps you operate through life.
Yeah.
And I think that's a unique approach because, Miriam, you had Cooper this week that has had a major blow. And so it's like one of those things that I was looking at pictures that you had posted, and it's just unique to see kind of like there isn't any like turmoil for Cooper, but it's like he's just chilling and whatnot. But think about that. Like he's got that experience, and you're like, well, it is what it is.
There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do. So essentially what happened, my son got they call it a buckle fracture. I don't know the medical terminology because I can't say it, and I'm not going to bear myself on this podcast. So I'm just going to say a buckle fracture. And what they mean by that is you ever take a spaghetti noodle, and when you bend it, it buckles out. Well, until it breaks. But that's essentially how they explained it. So urgent care just put like this little splint and then ace bandage. So we went in yesterday. Today's his birthday. Happy birthday, kid.
Happy birthday.
Right.
It's a good birthday present.
And they casted him. But the thing is, he is so used to cast, it really didn't bother him. He was born with bilateral club feet. So he has had casts ever since he was a week old. And it was up to 5 or 6 weeks. And then surgery, and then in those casts for another 3 weeks. So it's just he's just used to it by now. But yeah, it's just one of those. He amazed the shit out of me yesterday. I am doing something, I'm cleaning up something, and I'm like, where'd the kid go? He's in my room. He had figured out how to climb up on the bed, even with this cast. I'm like, that's my boy. Love you so much.
It's powerful when you look at that too, because kids are resilient. Like there's no limitation for kids. As adults, we start putting that limitation on the kids. I heard that I think by the age of 7, the patterns of kids are 50% in place, and then by the age of 17, 80% of their patterns are set in place. And now think about what that does to us as adults. And when we're thinking about the whole idea about divorce. And people are like, oh, that's bad. You failed. And then you start telling yourself that. So it's one of those powerful things that it's like, why? How did we get here? And I know Titus has got a situation with your divorce. And I know probably your mindset is a little bit different than maybe mine and Miriam's when we went through stuff. So when you're looking at your situation right now, where's your mind at?
So there's this Hawaiian tradition called Ho'oponopono, and I could have said that wrong, but it's close. And basically what that is that's, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And that is, the story behind that is there's a psychologist or a doctor, and he went into a terrible prison, right, where it was just the worst of the worst cases. And he didn't see the prison inmates. He just went to the facility and practiced Ho'oponopono. After several months, the behavior of the inmates improved. It was trackable, and it was something that they could measure. And over a course of time, the behavior improved. And so that's one of the things that I practice. The other thing is that I'm safe and that she's safe. Right? I want her to feel safe. I want me to be safe. I want us to be safe. I want to be safe as we go down this journey, as we walk this road. So Ho'oponopono, I want everybody to feel safe. And then another thing that I do is to be the bigger person. Right?
Well, I'm out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No,
in the beginning I wasn't. Now I am.
And I had to commend you on what you did though. When everything finalized, you reached out to your ex. And did express, hey, sorry, I wasn't the best person. But I think that's a powerful thing, because when you hear a lot of people going through divorce, it is such a tumultuous aspect. People have hatred and they're spitting bile out because I look at it as because now you haven't completed yourself. You're looking at this other person to complete you. Now you want to blame them for shit that you did. And so I think that's very powerful to hear that perspective of what you're doing. Because I think a lot of times people are like, nope, screw that shit.
It's a choice and a decision. It's a choice and a decision. It takes two in a relationship.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I was not the best. She didn't do everything right. I didn't do everything right. She wasn't the best, right? She hurt me. I hurt her. That doesn't mean that we can't be the bigger person, right? And it's a choice. When I feel that she continues to offend me or continues to do something odd or bad or cross grain, I have to just let it go. And when it comes with money, it's even a bigger thing. It's like, right? Because your defenses and your walls go so like quick.
Yeah.
And it's a decision to lower the wall, proclaim peace, shed love and light, and just do it, right? No matter how much it sucks, no matter how much it hurts, right? Okay.
See, and that was really difficult for me. And the reason I made that decision, and hopefully it doesn't sound bad, but it's because of my son. I didn't want our son to see us fight or argue or feel the tension or kind of feel mom and dad can't be in the same room. So I don't know what
part of the reason
people do when they don't have kids. Like what keeps them from, I don't know, murdering the other person?
Well,
hiding the body?
I've thought for several years, I think there's a Guns N' Roses song that talks about that, just bury him in the backyard, But it's where I'm at in life right now. And in October of 2018, I told you guys briefly or a little bit about me discovering my heart. I grew up a 3-part person. I grew up mental, physical, spiritual. And when I discovered my heart, it encapsulated all those areas of my life. And it really just, I got tired of the facade. I took the masquerade mask off and I said, I'm going to be me, whatever. Right. And I'm tired of playing the game. And so you're talking about being authentic and being real.
Yeah.
And so, I was in a conversation today, and, I could feel that it was a little uncomfortable for them, right? Because why do you laugh?
Was it Frank?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was like,
No.
you told me you talked to him.
No.
Like, there's no way he was uncomfortable.
No, Frank and I had a great time, and I'll share you the link to the video. No, I love Frank. No, it wasn't Frank, but this person, and they're not as further down the journey as Frank is, right? They're a little bit newer, and so in their discovery of who they are, right? They made a decision. They're like, she turned 40 years old. She made a decision, and she's like, I'm going to be authentic, right? And so she's starting her journey, but it was a little bit uncomfortable for her at times because I just stood in my power, right? And when you stand in your power, the world around you has to come to that. And people don't like change.
True.
Right. And so, and so when you pull people to that, right, that's change in their world. And so I want to just say thank you to you guys for letting me express who I am and be me, because I love this.
Thank you for taking up the offer and coming and joining us, because I feel as if as we're doing this more, being open with people, it allows people to, okay, it's okay for me to say it's okay to not be okay, to open up and experience the feelings, because divorce is one of those things that you've got a wide range of emotions, and people don't want to face those emotions because as a society we're told not to show emotion.
God. Yeah. So kind of one other thing from what you said earlier, I thought it was kind of cool after the presentation, how many people, and I don't know for you, but how many people came up to me and they just kind of like shared their junk. And I've always found that to be the case. If someone isn't being their real self, sometimes I'll share a little bit of my junk or who I am or my mess or whatever it is. And that makes the other person feel comfortable because they're in their mind like, oh, this person doesn't judge. So I can be myself. I can be free to say what I want. And so it's just having that initial, hey, this is my stuff. What about you?
So you're referring to an area of your life, right? You used divorce just a moment ago, right? Where you became vulnerable in that area so they could be relatable to you and back and forth, right? Imagine if you did that 360 of your life.
I don't have time to do that.
Honestly, I think you're at that point. There's not much because we've had conversations that it's everything on the table. Like there's nothing held back in this friendship that we have. And you had talked about it. You're like, a true friendship, you've got to be open, because if you're not open to certain things, then it's an acquaintance and that relationship is non-existent.
Yeah. And this is and being like that is a great example of what a marriage should have. But so many times it's not like that. We're hiding this, we're hiding that because we don't want judgment and criticism from the spouse. Right? And so all of a sudden we're living the life we think that they want us to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now we're not congruent with who we truly are. So there's discord there.
Well, and that's what happened with me and my ex is I didn't feel like I could be myself because I was constantly getting judgment or certain statements. So of course you start to pull back and become this completely different person or the person they want instead of the person you actually are. So again, divorce works in my favor.
Yeah, I tell people I'm actually grateful that my divorce has taken place because I'm at the point in my life that I truly feel I'm fulfilling my purpose, which is one of those tough things for people to really try to tap into. Yeah, we got some balls going on and whatnot.
Okay, you need a phrasing.
Hey, it's okay. They're up there juggling. Who knows? Maybe they got some blue balls going on up there.
Oh, God, that's hot. I don't even know what to say. I did have a question for you. So, and it's something that I've been trying to get there, essentially, but I'm not. I feel like I'm getting closer and closer and closer every day to forgiving the other person. Is that a place that you're already at, not going through the divorce yet? Or do you think there's still parts where you're like, I really haven't forgiven this person for what they did here, or the whole picture, or whatever.
Yeah. I appreciate you asking that question. So you can feel, let me rephrase that. I can feel, you can feel, it's just whether you're aware or attuned to it, when there's not harmony, right? And so as far as forgiveness is concerned, yes, I have forgiven her. And I can say that confidently because there's another entity that I feel that discord with and the defensiveness with. And I had a conversation with a fellow coach and I told them, I said, I want to make sure I'm clean and clear with that. Right. And so we're going to continue that conversation. But as far as being clean and clear with her, I feel clean and clear.
Okay. But how did you get there?
You make a decision. It always starts with a decision.
Okay.
So you can say it's a step. I want to forgive that person. I want to forgive that person. You can say, I forgive that person and do it. I forgive that person. I forgive that person. And as you do that, it's okay. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
But is it that easy? Because I've said that over and over again, and I'm not quite there.
And what makes you say that?
Because I can feel it in my heart.
What is it that you're feeling?
I don't forgive him.
Okay. Is it a feeling of unforgiveness or is it a feeling of resentment and bitterness?
I don't think it's resentment or bitterness. It's there were just certain situations, that I feel like.
Okay,
and so not even like a little drop the ball, but like really drop the ball.
Okay, so here's an exercise for you. Ready?
Are we doing it now?
If you want.
Do I have to stand up?
No.
Okay, good.
But you do have to close your eyes. So you see the event, right? Whatever that is, see it. And once you see it, it is more likely it takes up the whole movie screen of your vision, right? So fold the screen in half. And now that you've folded the screen in half, fold it in half again. And keep folding that picture until it's about the size of a pea. Now take it to the size of a pinhead. And that is that event, the size of a pinhead. Now take that screen, take that image, and put it on the sun.
And then
the sun burns it up.
Okay. I'll have to redo that because I'm not good with all these close your eyes and picture this, and
Okay,
I'm
so
just a different person.
So here's another one, right? Put it on a piece of paper, write it out. Take the piece.
See, that's better for me because I'm a visual person.
That's fine. Hey, everybody learns different, right?
Right.
So put it on a piece of paper, write it all out, and it might take you more than one time, but really just write it out, crumple it up, throw it in the fireplace, and burn it.
Okay.
Imagine that it's a spider that's dressed like a clown.
Well, I don't want to put holes in them all when I shoot it. I hate. Yeah. A gun, sure.
Stay away.
Multiple.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't need you judging me.
We're not at all. We're commending you. We're commending you. That's awesome. My 3 daughters know. Actually, everybody in the family knows how to shoot. I was an NRA instructor.
Okay.
And I was also a hunter ed instructor for Parks and Wildlife, Colorado Parks and
Oh,
Wildlife.
that's fun.
Yeah. So
I can't wait
I've
to
got
get my
some
son's
talents
first
and skills.
It's gonna be fun. Sorry. Totally went off track.
So I think the unique approach here, because you've got kids, Titus.
5.
And so when you look at the children and the divorce piece, where are you at with that? And what is your outlook in regards to discussing with your kids? Because I know for myself, I've talked to my kids. I don't go real deep, but I do talk. And I've asked them, I was like, have you asked your mom? And my oldest is like, yeah, I've asked mom, but she said I'm not old enough to know. And I think that's the one confusing part too, is that kids sense it. Kids know what's going on. If they have questions, answer them. You don't have to go so deep and whatnot, but answer them, because you're going to cause confusion. And then if they have other questions with other things, they'll be like, well, mom always blows me off, or dad blows me off. And so why do I want to go ask my parents? Let me go ask Google, or let me go ask my best friends. And then they're just all convoluted because they're getting some crazy information.
I teach them the same thing that I practice.
Okay.
Right? Practice what you preach.
Mm.
And so I don't look to the past and to what had happened. I basically help them get to the future.
Okay.
Right. Or paint their picture. And so I tell my kids, I've told them all, make a list of 50 things, 50 characteristics that you want in a spouse. Right. Make a list. I want this. 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 And think about it. Write down all the positive characteristics that you want and design that person.
And that's actually that's fun. That's unique, because I was listening to a podcast where John Gottman and his wife Julie were discussing relationship pieces. And when Julie met John, they both went through a divorce, and they were through it like 7 years. And she said she actually had a vision of what this person looked like from behind. And John was going up in pain for something, and she's like, what I saw in my dreams and whatnot, John matched that. And they have a very strong relationship. I think they've been married for 25, 30 years, and they are big experts within the relationship fields and whatnot. But that's one of those powerful things, because I think a lot of people, when they start making that list, they're like, I don't want this. I don't want this. And it's like, you got to flip it and be like, okay, this is what I want. Because if you start focusing on what you don't want, that's what you're going to start finding.
But you need contrast.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You need contrast, right? So it's okay to know what you don't want, because by knowing what I don't want, it helps define what I do.
I was going to say, because I started to do the same thing, is figure, okay, so what exactly do I want? But I know there's a lot of factors because of who I've married that I don't want. So it's still that, like you said, that contrast. But again, I'm taking those things from experience and go, I don't want to do that again, or go through that again, or be with that person again, or whatever, and move that to, well, this is what I want, kind of thing. So
good job.
That was it.
So I think it's powerful just to hear the perspective of somebody else, because all of us go through a different journey, and so it's just one of those powerful things to hear. This is what I've gone through. This is what I'm doing. And it gives people perspective that, hey, it's okay. You don't have to be angry. But that's the other thing too. Like, people have to experience the emotions too. Too many people try to bottle it up and say, oh, you're non-existent.
Okay. So yes, let's go ahead. Do you want to add something?
Nobody said you can't be angry. It's what you do with that anger, or how you react to that anger, or whatever. You know, everybody. I mean, I was angry in the beginning.
So,
but he's still alive. So
yeah. So it wasn't that bad,
right?
Yeah, you survived, right? He survived, so.
And I'm much better now.
Yeah, exactly. Look at the positive. So one of the, it's not related to divorce, but it can be used in divorce because principles and whatever work. So in my journey, there was the feeling of alone. Right. And I did not like to feel alone because I felt abandoned, and from my youth, right, from birth, felt abandoned and so on and so forth. So there was things that in my life that I did not feel comfortable, or did not like the feeling of alone. Once you put your finger on that, I sat in that feeling and learned to feel comfortable in it. Right. And so I wasn't so always rejecting it and pushing it away. And same thing could be said with any emotion that you have for divorce or whatever that you're going through. Learn to be, when you feel it, take a moment and pause in it and just see and ask, what am I supposed to learn from this? There's more than likely a lesson that you can learn from this. Why am I feeling this way? And learn the lesson, because until you learn the lesson, you're going to continue to go through that situation. Oh yeah, there were many times in the beginning. Of course, nobody knew how I felt because I'm just that person. But Wonder I was Woman. Huh? Who's your superhero?
She's a big Marvel fan, but I don't think there's any female characters though.
I mean, there's Captain America, but.
You mean Captain Marvel?
Or Marvel, whatever.
But yeah, Wonder Woman, that's DC.
Yeah, we're not a DC fan. I'm sorry, I can't say it.
Well, I don't know.
However, that would be probably, like, as the female aspect, the one I'm more relatable to. But, again, that's DC. But no, there were several times because I worked for an office, and again, a crazy story, but you may not have time for that. But I started working for this health insurance broker, which I still do now. And there were several times I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to cry. I'm like, no, hold it in. Nope, I gotta cry. So I'm like shutting my door, crying. I'm like, okay, why is this even happening? And there were sometimes I couldn't figure out the answer, no matter how much I thought. I don't know if there was just too many emotions at one time, but I couldn't pinpoint the one. But then there were sometimes like, okay, I am still sad that I'm losing him. So sometimes I could pinpoint it, but not every time. But I would still try and make sure that, I let all of that out.
Absolutely.
Behind closed doors, because somebody can see me cry.
Absolutely. That's part of being clean and clear.
Mm-hmm.
Crying is absolutely a cleansing phenomenon. Yep.
Until you start ugly crying, you're like, oh my God.
Well, that's...
Ever see those women that are like, you're so cute when you cry? I look like probably Sloth from the Goonies if he would have cry.
You guys want to hear an incredible story?
Oh, man.
I'm ready.
So, January of 2017, I received an email, and this email said, do you know anybody that used to live in Fort Lauderdale that had a pool table in their garage? And immediately I knew. Back in 94, I lived in Fort Lauderdale.
Remember that far back?
Yes, and those were my college days too. And
oh, jeez.
Yeah, I can remember a little bit.
I think I pushed that out because I don't want to remember someone.
Yeah, right? Yes, so anyway, this email was a daughter I did not know I had.
Holy.
Her grandmother bought her the 23andMe DNA test, and she connected to somebody, my cousin's son, through Facebook. Right? Well, to add to the story, I'm adopted.
Okay.
And so Kleppinger's my adopted name. She found the Pence side of me. And you know how I was talking about being abandoned?
Yeah.
That was part of it. So I didn't know that side of the family. They were reintroduced into my life when I was 16 years old.
Who's they? What do you mean by they?
The Pence side.
Okay.
Was introduced into my life at 16. There was one picture with me and my cousins, the boys, and my grandmother. And so my daughter showed the picture. There's only one picture. It's surprising she found it. She pointed to my cousin and said, "Is that the guy?" And she said, "No, it's the kid and the guy in the back," which was me. And so back in 94, being in college and so on and so forth, met a young lady in the club, took her home, or took her to my buddy's place who had a pool table in the garage, and took her home the next day. As we're driving her home the next day, I saw a billboard that had a baby on it. And I noticed my buddy and I said, "I didn't use protection last night."
Man.
Right? But that was my buddy's house. I lived somewhere else. So she went back and was looking for me, but he lived in a gated community, whatever. She lived 30 minutes away. So she never found him, never found me. She was 21 years old when she found me.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you were talking about crazy, ugly crying or whatever crying. I feel that as I look through, you can connect the dots more looking backwards than you can trying to do it forwards.
What's your favorite saying?
Oh, I always say life is lived forward but understood backwards.
Yeah. Yep. And so what occurred in my childhood and then it was her that helped heal that.
How so?
Because I was abandoned. I didn't even know about her. It wasn't like she was abandoned, but I promised my kids that I wouldn't put them through what I lived through,
right.
What I went through. And here was a child of mine that I made a promise to that I had no clue about. And so there was one time, and I kid you not, I cried and I cried and I cried. But in doing that, there was a lot of healing that took place. A lot of healing. So
it's a lot of healing and a lot of tissues.
With everything that you're discussing right now, how many people know this part of who you are?
Not very many.
So a lot of people have heard stuff that they don't know.
Very much so.
How does that feel?
For them to know?
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm just thankful that I got to share it on your show.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So the one thing that we do have, this is a tool that I've talked about several times. Why are you laughing? You're going to read them off? Okay. So this
that means I don't have to answer them?
No, you're answering them too. We're all answering them.
I was trying to get out of it.
So there's a gentleman that I ran across. He's real big in podcasting. I think he's been doing it for 7 years. So he's created this tool. It's called Pod Decks. And so there's 5 decks right now. Yeah. And so what it is it's a tool in your hand that you can utilize. So a lot of people will have like these static questions of what they ask. And so this kind of allows you to have some different ideas of things to ask. And it's like, okay, these are what the cards are here. So we've
already done this one before.
Well, we've done it, but Titus hasn't. Why are you...
Do you have control issues?
If you can
you're not going to answer that
one? A little bit.
Which one is that one?
How long did that take? I'm just teasing.
Which one are you reading?
I'm telling you, we've already done if you were a villain or a criminal mastermind, we have already done that.
That's fine. So, Titus has it though.
Okay, so he's the only one answering it, right?
Oh,
okay. See, I was confused.
So we had this question before, but for Titus, this is your question here.
Okay.
If you were a villain
or
criminal mastermind,
yes,
what would be your calling card?
Calling card, like my tagline?
Well,
Like,
think about like Home
like,
Alone. The
like, what do
sticky
you-
bandits where they would turn on the water faucet and
And I thought it was like
my
more like
calling-
what you're like known for, like the Joker was, fucking nuts. Like,
yeah.
Yes, I did it. That would be it.
Okay.
Yes, I did it.
Am I doing all of them, or are we doing it sporadic like we did last time?
No, we're doing all.
Okay, so
This is Would You Rather.
Okay.
take cold showers for the rest of your life, or never get more than 4 hours sleep a night ever again. You just listed what every single mama has to deal with.
Yeah,
If I'm going an option, I'm taking the cold showers for the rest of my life because that's actually good for your body. If you go look at the research.
I hate being cold. Like, it pisses me off when I get too cold. Well, it's not cold, but like stay cold.
Oh, I know that. And then you tried fighting it the one time when I was
I
like,
didn't try and fight it. I was just too busy doing other stuff.
no.
Well, what's your answer? We heard it.
Never get more than 4 hours of sleep. I do that now.
You're right.
So like nothing's gonna change.
You're going the 4 hours too?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Titus.
Yeah, absolutely.
You ain't doing cold showers?
For the rest of your life?
Yeah, I've done cold showers. So the exercise with cold showers is it's just a feeling.
Yeah.
It's just a feeling, and you gotta tweak it in your brain and just acknowledge, sit in the feeling. It's just physical feeling as opposed to emotional feeling. Sit in that and become comfortable with it, and over time, it's no big deal.
I like my sleep, so that's why.
I'm saying I just think of how much I could do and accomplish, and with less sleep. So let's go.
God, right? What weird food combinations do you really enjoy?
I've got some weird ones too. Do you have one?
So this was something that when Garrett, we went on his podcast this past weekend, and there was a card he had pulled. If you had to have a sandwich named after you, what would be on there? And so for me, it was peanut butter and ranch. And yeah, buddy,
that's pretty gross.
And it would be
First off, already not a big fan of ranch. I will eat it when I dip my fried mushrooms in it or my celery, but on like salad or sandwiches, I just don't outwardly seek it.
Well, that's the thing. Like peanut
butter with it,
buddy. Yeah, try
that's it. Just peanut butter and ranch.
It was on a tortilla shell. It was on a tortilla shell. And it would be called the Let's Go sandwich. This was something that we were talking about. I feel like
everybody's gonna vomit, guys.
It's okay. If we had this,
is it okay?
I would have a mystery
Nobody
sandwich.
would buy it.
And then every day there would be 3 different ingredients. And so the chef would like specially make it. And
I'm just gonna keep praying for you. What about you, Titus?
Nothing compared to that gross.
Right? Like I'm like, God, I lost my appetite.
Yeah, I was like,
I was gonna have second dinner when you guys leave, but now
those cookies look pretty good though.
You're welcome to. Still trying to get this whole baking thing here in Colorado. I haven't quite found. Plus a new oven.
Where are you from?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
You should have heard. Ask her where I asked where she was from.
I said, "Are you from Australia?" First off, I even sounded Southern saying that. Australia. That's what he said. Like, no. Are you? You got your hearing aids? You want to turn them up?
It started the relationship. Okay.
It's no. Let me be nice to you. So no weird foods.
Oh yeah, just something with like peanut butter and banana or something like that, but nothing like with.
Yeah, but that's not weird. That's delicious. Or peanut butter, banana.
What we consider
honey?
delicious. Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Some people might consider weird, but anyway,
it's true. What about yours?
I like normal foods. Like every other aspect of Miriam is weird, but when it comes to food, I'm just normal.
Did you guys ever get down to Fat Sully's downtown?
Yeah, that's delicious.
They have this thing where they take these waffle fries and put like a mushroom gravy and something else on there, and it's like a plate like this and about like this, and it's just all a bunch of bad good stuff.
I love bad good stuff. That's what I thrive on. If you could undo oh God, here we go. If you could undo one moment in your life, what would it be?
Mm.
No.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's
You
the
gonna take a
question?
wager?
No, she's over there whispering stuff.
Oh.
You're not in this, Titus. We're making a wager.
On me?
No.
On
Yeah,
my answer?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're gonna say, but he says no. I'm wrong.
What do you think it is?
I'm gonna say nothing.
Huh?
I'm gonna say nothing because everything you've done or experienced has brought you to where you are today.
Mm.
Was that it?
No, but that was my initial thought.
Give me
But
that.
see,
Yeah, but
but
he's
it
going
was
with
his initial thought.
Well, he's not going with that. So
Because there was a lesson that I learned in it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a
Come at
lesson
me,
that
bro.
I learned.
No,
Yeah.
because that was his initial thought.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Oh no. I think mine was it was my junior year of high school, and I got real hyped, and I was talking about breaking somebody's leg playing football, and learned the power of the spoken word. And I was out. We were playing a scrimmage, and it was like the third play of the game. The guard came out, pulled. We were on our practice field, so it wasn't the nice turf that they have at the high school now. But he hit a pothole, tripped, and my foot was planted and landed right in the top of my thigh, broke it. So I've got a titanium rod in my leg, some screws. And it was funny because I sat up and I could see my foot hanging out at a 45-degree angle. I was like, oh, that's not supposed to be that way. And one of the coaches came over. He's like, get up, get. And then he looks at, oh, and then he takes off. So for me, it would have been understanding more of the power of the spoken word. But, you live and learn, and it's got me to where I'm at now. So, but that would be the one thing I would change.
Was not snapping your leg in half?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds.
But you learned the valuable lesson in that, the power of the spoken word.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how incredibly strong that is?
It's very strong.
Yeah. Equivalent to the leg.
Yeah.
Moving on.
That is a really good question because, again, what if that one thing I would take back would not lead me to where I am today? That's what I always think.
Yeah.
Like, I understand I've done dumb shit in my past. I get that. I understand I've been not smart when I was younger. Is what it is. But if that one instance was ever taken away, would I be the Miriam you see today? No. And I like the Miriam that I see today. So I'm going to go with nothing.
There you go.
Drop the mic.
Don't drop this one.
Okay. Yeah, that's expensive. I can't afford to pay that.
So anybody that has a podcast that's looking at trying to have some different tools and whatnot, I do have a discount code. It's 10% off of your first purchase. Go to poddex.com. It's Let's Go 26, so capital LETSGO 26. And these are just powerful tools. You can use them for Facebook Lives, broadcasting, anything like that. So it gives you a little different outlook and some different things to think about. But for yourself, Titus, if somebody wants to reach out and speak to you or have any questions, how can they do that?
They can reach me at theglowcenter.com. So theglowcenter.com. My email is titus@theglowcenter.com. 719-229-1110 if you want to get in touch with me real bad.
Is it all right if I put that information in the show notes?
Sure.
Okay. So anybody that needs to reach out, speak to Titus and whatnot, I'll put that in the show notes. You can reach out. The power of, I think, everybody that we surround ourselves with is that mindset of abundance, prosperity, and just plenty to go around, because I'm not going to resonate with one person that may resonate with you. I may not resonate with somebody that will resonate with Miriam. And so that's the...
Miriam.
Oh, my goodness.
He doesn't ever say my name right. And I'm the one from the South, and he can't say my name right.
Yeah. It's a good time. So
if they're looking to get a better association, they can find the Glow groups on Facebook. So there's a Glow page and there's a Glow group, Glow Growth and Development, and they can hang out in there. And there's a lot of positive people, a lot of good mindset stuff, and we'd be glad to have anybody that wants to show up.
Well, do you have anything else? Any other questions?
Nope, something just dinged.
Yep, perfect timing.
I think the only other thing that, of course, we do have our workshop that's launching next Saturday, the 17th of October from 3 to 4. It's a 6-week-long workshop that is located on Eventbrite. I'll put that in the show notes too. So anybody that feels as if you're on your own island, you don't know what's going on, reach out, sign up. Myself and Miriam would love to work with you, help you out, because this journey is not the easiest. And if you can have people that you can trust and lean into, ultimately it helps with that process. So I'm
doing my Vanna stuff.
I appreciate it. Yeah, there's quite a few comments. We'll get to the comments. So we got
from Danielle.
Okay, so we'll answer those.
All of them.
Good. But anybody that left a comment, we'll follow up. Right now, the screen that I have, it's not the biggest, so it's like we gotta put a lot of binoculars and whatnot. So
Jesus. This is why we have bad eyesight.
well, you got glasses, it's okay. So, but want to thank everybody for your time joining us. We look forward to continue walking on this journey with you, giving valuable insight, giving different tools, and allowing other people to come on and give their perspectives.
Thank you, Titus.
Yes, thank you, Titus, for your time.
Thank you.
We'll catch you guys next week. And also, the one thing that's kind of adjusting for us is we'll be recording on the weekends for the most part.
Yes.
Because Miriam's taking on another.
Because I don't have enough shit to go around in my life. I swear to God. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah.
What are you taking on?
I go back to, well, I'm currently back to a health insurance broker for open enrollment. So doing that, as well as my business, as well as raising a son.
What's your business?
I'm a property and casualty insurance agent.
So if anybody is looking for assistance with that, with the health insurance or your auto, your property, your toys, anything of that nature, reach out to Miriam. We do have it where you can reach out to us through our email, and that will be in the show notes. And also any feedback that you have. We've surpassed our listening goal, and so we are looking for feedback. So the 10th person that provides us feedback, good, bad, and different, we will send you a book that's really helped us during this journey and given a different perspective. So other than that, thank you guys for your time. We will catch you guys next week. And everybody that jumped on and watched, thank you for the support. So peace.
Bye.
My head's all in the way.
That's not true.